All right, today we're diving into a really pivotal moment from Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. It's a moment where a young man's entire world is just shattered by a single, terrifying revelation. Okay, I want you to imagine this. Your life has been totally transformed by a secret fortune. You think you know where it came from, but then, one night, the real guy responsible shows up in your room, and he is absolutely not who you expected. So, who is this man? And why is this gentleman he supposedly made so terrified? Well, this is the story of Pip, and his great expectations are about to turn into his greatest nightmare. Let's break down how this whole thing unravels. All right, so let's set the scene. We've got Pip living the high life as a gentleman in London, and then one stormy night, he gets a visitor. It's this coarse, older guy, and Pip vaguely recognizes him from way back in his childhood. It turns out this visitor's real name is Abel Magwitch, and get this, he's a convict that Pip, as a scared little kid, once helped out on the marshes. Magwitch has come all the way back from exile in Australia, and he's not just there to say thank you. No, he's got a claim that is about to change everything. Here's the bombshell. Magwitch is Pip's secret benefactor. All of it. The money, the fancy education, his whole new status, it all came from him. This wasn't a gift from some wealthy, high-class lady like Pip always believed. Nope. It was the entire life savings of a criminal who'd been shipped off to a penal colony. And here's the really crucial part. Transportation was a punishment back then. You get exiled and you are not supposed to come back. Ever. So for Magwitch to be in London, that's illegal. And if he gets caught, we're not just talking about going back to prison. It's an automatic death sentence. So you've got Magwitch, who is just overjoyed, right? He's seeing the gentleman he created from halfway across the world. But Pip? Pip is filled with nothing but pure horror and disgust. I mean, the disconnect between these two is just massive. For Magwitch, this is the absolute high point of his life, the fulfillment of a dream. But for Pip, it's a nightmare. His whole identity, everything he thought he was, is built on money from a man he can't even stand to look at. Pip is just desperate for this to be some kind of sick joke, so he bolts over to his lawyer, the very intimidating Mr. Jaggers, the guy who's been handling all the money for years. He confronts Jaggers and just lays it all out on the table. Hey, this guy named Abel Magwitch showed up and says he's my benefactor. You can just feel him hoping, practically pleading with Jaggers to say, no, that's crazy, it's not true. But Jaggers, in his usual no-nonsense way, just confirms it. That is the man in New South Wales. Pip has to try one last time. He's always believed his benefactor was the wealthy Miss Havisham, so he asks, and only he? And with just 3 words, and only he, Jaggers just hammers the final nail in the coffin. The awful truth is confirmed. The truth is just undeniable. Pip is completely crushed. And now, on top of everything, he has a brand new problem. He has to protect this man he despises from being captured and hanged. So, Pip and his good friend Herbert realize they have to get Magwitch out of the country and fast. But to really get a handle on the danger they're in, they figure they need to hear his whole life story. And boy, what a story it is. Magwitch's life has been just one long struggle against injustice. An orphan, in and out of jail, and almost all of it seems to circle back to one guy, a so-called gentleman and criminal partner named Compeyson. This trial scene is a perfect example of how much class prejudice mattered back then. Compeyson, the smooth-talking gentleman, gets off easy. Magwitch, the rough-looking commoner, gets the book thrown at him. It literally didn't matter what you did. It was all about how you looked and how you spoke. So as Magwitch is wrapping up his story, he mentions a name. And Pip's friend Herbert suddenly goes pale. He's just made a chilling connection. A connection that's about to tie this whole insane story together. The name, of course, is Compeyson, and Herbert knows that name. He knows a story about a rich woman who was left at the altar by her fiancé, a swindler named Compeyson. He scribbles a quick note to Pip, and boom, the horrifying link is made. The man who swindled Miss Havisham is the same man who ruined Magwitch. Suddenly, all these separate parts of Pip's life, the strange decaying bride, the convict from his childhood, his own secret fortune, They all just slam together. The man who made Pip a gentleman is the mortal enemy of the man who ruined the woman Pip always thought was his benefactor. It's all connected. And this changes everything. Because if Compeyson is still alive, and he is, he's the one person on Earth who would want to find Magwitch and turn him into the authorities. The danger is no longer some abstract threat. It has a name, a face, and a direct link to Pip's own life. So, Pip's whole life of lies has been blown wide open. His great expectation was for a life of wealth and status. His new reality? A life-or-death race against time, with a deadly enemy closing in. So now the question is, can he save the man who made him? What this all shows is how a single truth can change absolutely everything, forcing you to figure out who you really are when the lies fall away.